In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to the APSEX online sport program. I'm your presenter Aisha Shweb from APS Rahim Yar Khan Cantonment. We are currently at level 6 to 8 and today I am delivering this online tutorial for class 6. Our recommended textbook is New Secondary Science 1 David Kopok and pages that we will cover today will be from 87 to 89. Our running chapter is chapter number 7, that is mixture and solution. And topic that we will be covering today is how to separate solid and how to separate dissolved solid from liquids. Our resources required will be textbook. In this lecture, you will learn what is suspension, what is sediment, lastly, what is filtrate and residue. By end of this lecture, students will be able to learn how to separate solid from liquid and students will be able to learn how to separate dissolved solids from liquids. First of all, students, look at page number 87. We have few terms there. Number one is concentrated solution. What is concentrated solution? Solution that has relatively high concentration of solute is known as concentrated solution. Look at diagram number 1, jar number 2. If we dissolve a lot of salt particles in water, the solution will be known as concentrated. Look at diagram number 2, jar number 1. If we dissolve many particles of solute in any solvent, the solution will be known as concentrated solution. Okay? Now, contrary to this, we have diluted solution. Solution that has a relatively low concentration of solute will be known as dilated solution. Alright, look at diagram number 1, jar number 1. If we dissolve few salt particles in water, the solution that will be formed known as diluted solution. Now look at diagram number 2, jar number 2. We have few particles there, alright? We have few particles in water solution. The solution will be automatically known as diluted solution. Students, next we have suspension. When an insoluble substance is mixed with liquid, small particles can be seen floating around the liquid. This is called suspension. Students, if I mix few particles in any solution and it remains suspended in there, the solution will be known as at state of suspension. Alright, look at jar number 2. Can you see yellow particles floating there? Yes, we can see yellow particles floating in a solution. Alright, the solution will be known as at its suspension stage. Now, what is sediment? If the insoluble particles will settle down to the bottom of liquid forming a sediment, the solution is known as at state of sediment. Look at jar number 3. Now, can you see the yellow particles that has settled down? Yes, we can see the yellow particles that has settled down at the bottom of jar. The solution will be known as at the stage of sediment. Students, at page number 87, we have two examples. Page number 87. Copper sulfate dissolves in water to give a clear blue solution. The copper sulfate particles are still there, but they are so tiny that they cannot be seen. Alright, we cannot see that particles means that solution will be in suspension stage. Secondly, we have example of calcium carbonate that is insoluble in water. Small chalk particles can still be seen suspended in the water. Some of the chalk has formed a sediment at the bottom of beaker. If a layer of sediment is seen, we can say that solution is at stage of sediment. Alright. If we see particles are still floating, we will say solution is in the form of suspension. Now students, open your page number 88. We have a table there that explains specific solute will dissolve in specific solvent. We have few examples here. Number 1, grease and oil that is dissolved in trichloroethane. Number 2, gloss paint that will dissolve in white spirit. Third, nail varnish that will be dissolved in propanone. Lastly, oils in perfumes and aftershave that will be dissolved in ethanol, that is a kind of alcohol. Students, next our topic is how to separate solid from liquid. For this, we have to perform a practical. In this practical, what we do, we place a stand, all right, and we attach a funnel with it. We place a funnel, and in funnel we place filter paper. Filter paper is that kind of paper that allows only to solvent pass through it, and it captures all the solute in solvent. All right, what it allows to goes through, it allows only solvent, and we have placed our beaker underneath it. What we will do? We will mix any solute in water. For example, if I mix sand in water and I want to separate sand with water, what I will do? I will place all the solution in the funnel. The solvent, that is our water, will pass through filter paper and will be collected in the beaker, and as residue we will be getting all the sand over the filter paper. The suspended solids can be removed by filtration. This means pouring the mixture through filter paper. The liquid, that is filtrate, passes through the small holes in the paper, but the solid residue is trapped. This method is good for separating sand or chalk from water because these are insoluble in water. However, it cannot be used to separate dissolved solid from water because all the solution would pass through the filter. Nextly, students, we will discuss how to separate dissolved solid from liquid. Now we have a solid, but that is in dissolved form. Previously, we have solid, but that was not in a dissolved form. We know that sand cannot be dissolved in water. Yes, we know that. Here we have example of dissolved solid. For example, we have dissolved salt in the water. For this, we have to perform a practical in which we will place a evaporating dish. Alright, in this dish, we will place our solution that will be containing water in salt. Now, underneath it, we will burn fire from Bunsen burner. We will burn fire. Fire will evaporate all the vapor from the petri dish, leaving behind all the solute, that is our salt. Liquid is removed by heating the solution, so it evaporates, leaving solid behind. This method is good for obtaining salt from seawater